So for this lesson, we're going to be doing linear inequality systems graphically, and it's really similar to the past lessons that you've done this week, but you're just plotting two different lines on the same coordinate plane. It's going to be actually easier than the last lesson because you don't have to solve for slope-intercept format. All the inequalities that you're given are already in y equals mx plus b format, so you can just go straight to graphing. You don't need to solve for y at all. So looking at the first inequality that I was given, I'm going to find two pieces of information from it. I'm going to find my y-intercept and my slope. So we know that the y-intercept, the b in y equals mx plus b, is always the very last number. So I'm beginning at -6 when I'm graphing it. And then the m, my slope, how steep my line is -1/6. And since I know that it's negative from left to right, I need my line to be downhill. And then the second inequality that we're given, the b in y equals mx plus b, is -2, so that's our y-intercept. And then the slope is +1/2. So I know since it's positive from left to right, it'll be going uphill. So we can graph both of these lines now. I'm going to begin with the red top one. I'm going to start at -6. I know rise over run is 1/6, and I need to be going downhill. So rise 1, left 6. I need to figure out if I want a dotted or solid line. And since it's just greater than, and there's no line down here being or equal to, I know that I need a dotted line. So I'm going to click change line. And since this is a greater than symbol, it needs to be shaded above, bigger than my line. So I'm going to shade above for greater than. The second line, the blue inequality that we're going to draw, begins at the b, -2. My slope is 1/2, so in the positive uphill direction, rise 1, run 2. Again, there's no or equal to line down here underneath my inequality symbol, so I need to change it to a dotted line. And I need to figure out if I need to shade above or below. So since it's less than, I want to be shading below my line. So I'm going to click change shade. That's above the line. I need to go below the line. And then the last thing that you're going to do is you need to state the coordinate of a point in the solution set. And what that means is you're looking for the entire area that's double shaded. So for our first red line, we shaded everything above -6. So we were shading in this blue area. I'm just going over it in red. And then for my second inequality, we shaded everything below it in green, but I'm going to change it to blue. You're looking for the double shaded region, and you can see that the red and the blue are overlapping in this entire little area. And so when it's asking you to state the coordinate of a point in the solution set, it's just asking you to state any point that's in this yellow area right here. So I'm just going to pick just any random point that's in this yellow area. I'm going to do this point right here. And I just need to label that point as a coordinate point. It went right 6, so 6, and it went down 1, so -1. We can do another problem. Need to erase. Okay, so for this problem, we're doing the same thing, plotting both the lines on the coordinate plane. My first line begins at the b, -1, and its slope, the m, is -3. But we know when we're working with slope, it's easier to work with fractions. So instead of doing -3, I'm going to put it on top of 1. I know that since my slope is negative, I'm going to be having a downhill line. So I need to begin at -1, rise 3, run 1, and it needs to look downhill, so to the left. It's less than or equal to, so I want it to be a solid line since it has that or equal to line underneath the inequality symbol. And since it's less than, I want to be shaded below the line. So we'll go right there. For my second line, I know that it begins at -5. And my slope, there is no number out in front of here. Whenever that happens, you have an imaginary 1 since you're multiplying and nothing changes the x. So my m is 1. I can write that as a fraction 1 over 1. Since it's positive, it'll be going uphill. So I begin my line at my b, my -5. I need to go up 1, right 1. It's a greater than symbol, so that means that it doesn't have the or equal to, so it needs to be a dotted line. Since it's greater than, it needs to be shaded above the line. So I'll double click there. And again, we're looking for the double shaded region. My first line was shaded below this blue region. My second line was shaded above. So we can tell that that double shaded region was in here. So I can label any point in the solution set. I'm gonna go with, let's say, this point right here. I was left 3, so -3, and I didn't go up or down at all, so 0 for the y. We can do one more example. Okay, one more example. We're going to begin with the first top inequality. So I know that the b is at +2, and my slope, my m, is at 2/3. So I'm going to begin at 2. My slope is -2/3, so I need to rise 2, left 3 so that it's downhill. It's or equal to as this line underneath, so I'll keep it as the solid line. It's less than, so I need to shade below. And then for my second inequality, my b is at -4. My m is at +4/3. So my b, I'm going to begin at -4. I want it to be an uphill line, so I'm going to rise 4, run 3 in the right direction. It's just a less than symbol, so I need to change the line to dotted. And since it's less than, I'm going to shade below it. And then we need to label a point in the double shaded region. I can see that double shaded region right here, the kind of grayish blue. I can list any point in this area, so I'm just going to list this point right here. I didn't go right or left at all. I stayed on the y-axis, so it's at 0, but it went down 7, so 0, -7.